Hey guys, my name's Yvette and welcome to my DIY channel, and I hope that you guys are having a great day. So I'm so excited for today's video because I'm going to share with you guys how I made the Hocus Pocus book. And I didn't actually make this on a book, I made it on like a styrofoam poster board thingy, but you can make it on a book if you want to. I just wanted to hang mine on a wall and I thought it would be kind of awkward to have like a book just floating on my wall. Anyways, this was way easier than I thought it was going to be, so let's just get started. Okay guys, so since I'm not doing this on a book, I grabbed a styrofoam poster board from Dollar Tree and I placed a book on top of it around the size that I wanted my book to be, and then I added a ruler's width to it and traced it out. Then I cut it out with this X-Acto knife that I got from Dollar Tree. So here's our quote-unquote book, and you can make it as big or as little as you would like it to be. I'm going to start this out by tracing out the book onto the styrofoam board. First, I'm going to draw in like that metal plate with the snake that's on the left side of the book. And I'm not measuring anything out, I'm just kind of eyeballing whatever looks good. Now I'm doing the metal plates that are on the right side of the book. Here I'm drawing in the eyeball lock. The next thing I'm sketching in is like where the skin meets together on the book. And lastly, I'm drawing in those bumps where like the snake is biting into the book, kind of like pulling at the skin. So I went over this with a Sharpie and kind of like fixed some areas that I wasn't too happy with on my first sketch. Okay guys, so for this project, I'm going to be using these plaster sheets that I got on Amazon, and these are going to give us a really nice texture for the skin and for like all the bumps that we need the book to have. I cut out the plaster sheets into thin strips, and then I just started putting them on top of our lines where the skin meets. I also sort of like pinched them in together so that they could look thinner, and it'll also give us like nice bumpy textures. By the way guys, if you've never used plaster sheets before, all you have to do for these is dip them into preferably cold water for about like 15 seconds and then pull them out and they're ready to use. So you're like dipping them as you go. Don't dip all your strips at once because that'll like mess you up and make them all like hard and dry. These things dry within 3 minutes. And I did do multiple layers of these because I wanted height, so I ended up doing 3 layers of strips on top of each other. Right here we're adding in the little bumps where the snake head is like biting into the skin and pulling it. Okay guys, so now we're gonna do the skin part, and I just cut the plaster sheets to like longer strips and I laid them on top. After you dip these in water, make sure to blend out the plaster like I am on top of the book. Otherwise, you're gonna have holes in the plaster if you don't blend it out. I did end up doing 2 layers of the skin just to make sure everything was 100% covered. So this is how our book is looking like so far. I'm taking a piece of paper and I'm just going to draw out the metal plates onto the paper to use as a stencil. Okay guys, so it's really important that for this next step you use good clay. I'm going to use DAS air dry clay because it's my favorite and I can always count on this clay because it never cracks on me. So make sure to use good clay. Take some clay and roll it out kind of thin. Place your plate stencil on top and cut it out. make sure to do 2 of these. So I'm going to take some water and I'm going to put it all over my clay to make sure that it's tacky so that this will stick onto our book, and then place it on top of the book. Roll out some more clay into a long, thin line, and we're going to place the stencil for our plate that's on the left side of the book and cut it out. Once again, add some water to make it tacky and then place it on top of the book. And I did accidentally make mine a little too long, so then I just cut it to the right size. We're gonna do the snake next, and I have no idea how to describe the shape of the head, but that's what we're doing. And then place it on top of the plate on the left side. Roll out some more clay, and now we're gonna do the snake's body, and I did this in small pieces. Make sure that as you're adding in the body, you're kind of making it like slightly squiggle. Right here, I'm connecting the pieces together, and I just use some water to blend them together. And here I connected the third piece for the top of the tail. We're moving on to the snakes on the right side of the book, and the easiest way that I found to do this was again in sections. So first I did one loop, and I made sure to have a little bit of extra clay hanging off at the top because we're going to connect the snake's head to that. Then we're going to connect another loop and make sure to have this loop go over the first loop we did. And here I decided to add in the snake's head. Make sure that it's centered in the area where the skin is being pulled. And then add in the last loop and make sure that this loop goes under the first 2 loops we did. Do the exact same steps for the snake on the top right corner. We're gonna move on to our eye lock now, so roll out some more clay and kind of make it look like an oval, but not fully closed. Then for the lock area, shape the clay into a small rectangle. And then add in like a thin line of clay at the end. And make sure to place a little ball of clay in the middle of the lock. I'm taking my needle tool and just adding lines to that thin line at the end. Then I'm taking the back of a thin paintbrush and I'm adding in those holes that the lock has. I rolled out a circle and then I cut it in half, and this is going to be our eyeball. Then I used really thin pieces of clay and added them around the eye to make it kind of look like the skin around the eyeball. Remember, this doesn't have to be perfect. The more imperfections, the better. Okay guys, so this is what we've got going on so far. Next, I took some puff paint and I started drawing on the staples that connect the skin together. At this point, I did leave the book alone to dry because of the air dry clay.
The next day.
So now that our book is dry, I'm gonna paint it, and I just used a basic brown paint. And then right here, if you look at the book, you can see black in between where the skin meets. So I'm just painting in a black line throughout where the skin should meet. But skip this step for now, guys. I didn't end up loving this brown paint. It was just a bit too chocolatey for my liking, so I mixed up an ashier brown, and then just using my hands, I painted in where I wanted the dark brown areas to be. I mixed a lighter brown, and then I painted in again using my fingers the lighter areas of the book. This first brown ended up being a little too light for my liking, so right here I'm repainting it with a little bit of a darker brown but still light. And as you're doing this, highlight the areas that you like however you want. I would look back at the book for reference because I really didn't know what I was doing. Right here, I'm painting on that black line again. On the book, you can see that the staples are like a bit worn out. They're kind of like a very pale brown, so I mixed up that color, and that's what I'm going to be painting the staples. Moving on, we're going to paint in the eyeball. I'm using a metallic silver to paint in the snakes. Right here, I'm just using a darker metallic silver to shade the areas. And again, I'm just kind of like looking at the picture reference of the book. And I'm also going to use a light metallic silver for some of the highlighting points. Right here, I just wanted to show you guys a close-up of the snakes. Okay, so I painted the lock, and now I'm going to paint in a dark metallic silver into the holes. I'm also going to shade the lock with a little bit of a darker silver and then also highlights of a lighter silver on top. Don't forget to paint this little dot gold. Okay guys, we're almost done, and the last thing we have to do is seal this, so I'm going to use a matte Mod Podge to do this. And then we're done, guys, and we have our Hocus Pocus book cover, and it looks so good. Oh my gosh, I love this thing so much. It's probably one of my favorite things that I've ever made. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions and subscribe for more DIYs, and stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!